Solo video number 2. This is going well. It's weird, it's definitely weird. So like I said in the previous video, it's a bit different trying to, I guess, maintain some level of energy or enthusiasm when you're on your own, because obviously when you're with two of your close friends, you tend to bounce off them a lot. Trying to do that on your own is a bit tricky, but we'll get there, we'll get better at that. Bear in mind, I don't actually have any friends, so I'm used to talking to myself. I mentioned that I would probably cover how my training has changed recently in the last video, and that's what I'm going to do now. For those who have been following the channel for a while, I guess when we started the channel, I took more of a powerlifting approach, so the goal and the desire was to compete at some stage. So it's very much emphasizing squat, bench and deadlift, focusing on the 3 compound movements or 3 primary movements, getting strong with them. Obviously, I had quite a few setbacks due to injuries in the past. That then, I believe, ultimately slowed down progression in many of the lifts, whereas the only lift that didn't really get negatively impacted was my bench press, hence why bench seemed to be so far beyond the squat and deadlift at one point, and they gradually began creeping up and up and up. Cutting it short, after competing in November, so last November, loved it, had a really good time. Training up to it was great. Obviously there are a few niggles here and there and motivation kind of fluctuated. As a whole, I really enjoyed it and I loved the competing experience. It was nice seeing all my friends there, a bit of smelling salts, snorting things, make it look like I'm cooler than I actually am. Afterwards, you kind of take a few days off, maybe a week, where training is a bit more relaxed before then prepping for the next goal, which at the time was another competition a few months down the line. But after the competition, motivation dipped quite significantly, and by that I mean I had absolutely no desire to train. I kind of took the following week as very much I'll do what I can for this week, a deload basically, piss around for a while, which I did. That was fun. I quite enjoyed the shorter sessions because beforehand, leading up to the competition, sessions were taking a long time. So I think on average a session might last about 3 hours. Sometimes crept up, depending on how lazy I was with rest times, crept up to maybe 4 hours, but usually they'll be around 3. That wasn't particularly enjoyable, if I'm honest, and that wasn't really maintainable. I spoke to my coach at the time, who was Ben, BLG Strength. Hello. But he kind of informed me that motivation will likely dip after competing, because I did express my concerns and he was very accommodating with that. We spoke on the phone, we chatted about it, the direction and whatnot, and he just said this is normal, which was very reassuring. I think one of the benefits of having him as a coach at the time, he was and he still is a very close friend of mine, so he was very supportive in things like that, or in motivation dips and whatnot. So when things were getting quite tough, he was always there to support me, which I really appreciate. And as a whole, he's a great coach, I can't argue that. So obviously motivation dip, we spent a while trying to get it back, then Christmas came around, and obviously training over Christmas is always going to be a bit meh at best. Kind of said to myself, after Christmas I'll get back to it, crack on again, we'll go for the uni champs in March, I believe it was, end of March, beginning of April. Again, I couldn't find motivation, it just wasn't coming back. I got to, I believe, February time, I said to him, like, it makes no sense almost me wasting his time, as he was obviously spending a lot of time programming me. I was paying him as a coach and I wasn't really completing the sessions to the best of my ability, and most of the time I would end up skipping a lot of accessory movements just because I couldn't be bothered to be in the gym anymore. That ultimately led to me taking a bit of a break from coaching and powerlifting as a whole, just doing my own thing, which I did enjoy, but again I struggled to regain that motivation, which was quite daunting to me because training has been such a significant aspect of my life for so long. Losing the desire to do something I love is quite scary. I understand things change and obviously people's desires change and whatnot, and maybe their passions aren't necessarily their passions anymore, but I didn't really consider that with training. I kind of thought this is just a blip, and I still think it was. I took some time off powerlifting and just did my thing, and then I got a new coach in Plexium, so specifically DWAS. Looks like Ned from Spider-Man. I went down DWAS's coaching route because, again, he's a friend of mine. He's got a master's in strength and conditioning, which is all well and good considering he bought it online. It's not a real degree. What are you gonna do? Things were good, strength was going up. I was gradually finding motivation in powerlift again, and then things external to training started happening in life. That might be something to cover in a later video, I'm unsure at this stage, but like I said, things started happening in life which then ultimately had a negative impact on my ability to train. Again, after that, strength started fluctuating a lot, and in turn my motivation to train dropped again. So then I gradually kind of fell out of love with powerlifting as a whole. I didn't really have the desire to compete as much as I did before. I spoke to DWAS. We then agreed to, because obviously DWAS and Chris were both coaching me at the time for powerlifting, I then went down the solo route with DWAS, and we agreed that it might be worth doing a bodybuilding block for about 12 weeks, which we started doing, and then I realised I actually quite enjoy bodybuilding training. I actually enjoy it far more than powerlifting. I kind of confirmed with DWAS that I want to then focus on bodybuilding training rather than powerlifting for the foreseeable future. I'm sure I will go back to powerlifting at some point, but not for a very long time. Because ultimately, like beforehand, obviously I was chasing like the 200 kilo bench. I had numbers I really wanted to hit, but then I kind of lost sight of that. I didn't really care that much anymore. Don't get me wrong, I still squat, bench and deadlift every week. That's not going to change. Emphasis is now far more focused on the accessory movements, hitting muscles more frequently, and hypertrophy based work, which is fine. I enjoy it. Sessions are a lot shorter, hour and a half at tops, which is always nice. And that's kind of what's happened. I've taken a step back from powerlifting and I'm now focusing on bodybuilding. Will I ever compete in bodybuilding? Absolutely not. Number one, I'm not big enough, far from it. Number two, I have far too many weak body parts that need addressing. In before everything's a weak body part, apart from my calves, because I haven't trained them for 4 years, they don't exist. I don't like the idea of losing quite a lot of muscle mass to get so lean. That really deters me from ever stepping on stage. Maybe in the future, when I have much more of a stable base and a good bodybuilding foundation, but because I haven't focused on hypertrophy work for so long, I just want to enjoy the process. I was never going to be, nor will I ever be, a good powerlifter. I guess it depends how you define good. I'll never be competitive, I'll never be on the world platform, but that was never really a goal of mine. Obviously it would be cool to be like, yeah, representing my country, do this, blah, blah, blah. But quite frankly, I'm not good enough. I'm not strong enough, I don't have the genetics to do that. And powerlifting doesn't mean enough to me for me to justify investing a lot more time than I already do in getting stronger. It's a hobby that I wanted to incorporate as a means of enhancing my life. It was no longer really doing that. That then in turn explains why there's less training footage during the YouTube videos, such as this one, because I haven't really filmed a lot of my training. And also explains why I haven't really uploaded a lot to Instagram, because I still want to get stronger to some degree, or at least maintain strength, or lift respectable numbers for me, but I'm not really chasing, trying to set big PBs constantly, just really pushing. I don't really have a number goal in sight, and I'm happy with that. I have more of a physical goal in sight, which is how I want to look. Ideally, I just want to get bigger and look better and feel better. Quite frankly, DWAS slaughtered my technique. He basically said every lift needs a lot of work, which I completely agree with. So we're spending a lot of time focusing on technique as well. And that will ultimately allow me to lift in a more biomechanically efficient manner. So that's obviously a big goal as well. Lift better, lift more, make more gains, sick pump, dude. I do want to start filming more training-based vlogs again. Footage of me actually in the gym doing my training, speaking between sets. The only issue is the music at the gym is very loud. And copyright policies on YouTube have been a bit fruity at best recently. Hence why there hasn't been any music on any of our videos, because we keep getting flagged. Even if we upload a copyright-free song, we get flagged for it anyway. And now we've monetized the channel. The last thing we want is to upload content for someone else to put ads on to take the money we earn from the video we made, because we're using a song which we're allowed to use under fair use. Not all videos will be this format. They won't all be me sat in this room talking to the camera. There will be some diversity. Again, I think I'm just finding my feet with filming solo videos at this stage. Obviously, as I get back into the swing of training again, I will then start pushing a bit more towards the vlog route and maybe to the training vlog route, and basically give you more of an insight into my life, although rather boring. So yeah, that's the video. Hopefully you tolerated it, although unlikely. It was a bit brass, but I thought I'd just get something out, just quickly explain what I'm doing training wise. Not powerlifting, because I suck. Going to bodybuild, I suck at that too, but I enjoy sucking at that more than sucking at powerlifting. I'm brass at both. And in all honesty, I'm actually just chasing that Gymshark sponsorship I've been looking for so many years, since we obviously did the video on Gymshark. That was me being salty that they weren't sponsoring me, nor would they ever sponsor me. So I'm changing my goals to accommodate them, because I want to look like a sick Gymshark athlete. Either that or a GraceFit sponsorship, because I think I would fit in with the company quite well. I suit their mission statement, and our beliefs are very much aligned. Insert troll emoji here somewhere.